Invisible Notes with Kyle Hall. Giving talks that are too long to memorize, our next speaker had to come up with techniques for having notes without anyone knowing he had them. Please help me welcome Kyle Hall.
I went to a seminar. It was a sales seminar, and I watched a guy give a talk. It was 4 hours long. We had a couple of breaks, but he lectured us, taught us for 4 hours, and he never had a piece of paper in front of him. He never had a lectern in front of him. And I was amazed. I was watching what he was doing. I'd been in Toastmasters a year or two at the time, and I was watching what he was doing. I was like, how the heck does he memorize a 4-hour workshop? Well, I went up to him after the fact to ask him, and I waited my time patiently, and I said, how do you memorize this? And he just pointed down at the feet of the people in the front row. And what he has, you see this? It's a plastic. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of my background so you can see what I'm showing you. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. You see this? This is a plastic marketing screen. You take a piece of paper, a little flyer, you can put it in it. It's a couple of bucks at Office Depot. Well, he had 4 of these in front of him, sitting on the floor in front of the front row with text. And it was big font, 1 word for each 15-minute section of his talk. And I looked at that and I was stunned. I mean, yeah, he'd done the talk a lot, so 1 word was all he needed to remind him of the section that he was doing. But that gave me the idea for invisible notes. And I've worked on it since then. I was giving a talk. I was giving my Better Evaluating workshop at a place, and I went and checked out the room in advance, and I'm going to be down here. Oh, look, there's a balcony up there. Well, I printed out my notes, big font, and I went early and I taped my notes to the balcony up above. And it kind of worked. It kind of worked because I could see the notes, but I did get some comments about how often they noticed I was looking up during the middle of the talk. I'm busy talking to the audience, and I was always looking up. So they kind of noticed there was something going on there. They didn't realize it was notes. I gave this talk, this life hack on invisible notes. I gave it 2 years ago at a Speaker Hacks event that my Squim Club had. And I had big notes. I put them on the wall in the back of the room so that while I'm talking to the audience, I can look right over their heads and see my notes. And I had a flip chart with my title. Now, they couldn't see it, but if you write on a flip chart in a light number 2 pencil, if you write on it, I had the rest of my notes right there on the flip chart. They can't see them because it's too light, but I'm next to the flip chart. I can see it. At the end of the meeting, at the end of my little Speaker Hacks thing, I showed everybody where my notes were. So I had one of these on the floor. I had one of these on a table, 2 back. I had another one sitting on a stool next to me. I had one taped to the wall over there. I had a big one, big font taped in the back of the room. And then I showed them this one. I had a cup with my notes taped in little font on the cup. I had 8 notes in 8 different places around the room. Nobody saw them until I pointed them out to them. So if you are working on a speech and you need notes, now I encourage you to learn your speeches well enough you don't need notes. But if you're working on a speech, or especially if it's a long speech, a workshop, a couple of hours, something where maybe you need some notes, you want to make sure you don't forget a section, or you're throwing something in new, you got to remember. If there's a time when you need notes, you can use them invisibly. You don't need a lectern in front of you. You don't need notes in your hand. Hide them. Use invisible notes. Madam Toastmaster.
Game over.